You can't fight someone who walks around at 12-3, boiling him down to 160. Before, you would have fought him at 157. Okay. Yep. Yep.
And what did he say?
He said the fight would the public be interested in such a fight? Unfortunately, because promoters have been constantly rinsing the public with these fights, which actually are about names, not about abilities. So, they would take an interest.
Chris Eubank Sr. did not hold back in criticizing Conor Benn for stepping into the ring with his son, Chris Eubank Jr., voicing strong opposition to the scheduled bout due to serious safety concerns. He expressed deep worry over the weight cutting, demands placed on Eubank Jr., calling them potentially life-threatening. He is coming down 1 ounce below 160 pounds, which cannot happen on my watch, Eubank Sr. stated, highlighting the dangers of extreme weight loss in boxing and referencing past fatalities. He questioned the motivations behind the fight, suggesting that Conor Benn might be driven by a desire to avenge his father's past losses to Eubank. Senior Eubank urged Benn to focus on his own career at 147 pounds, saying, "His career is not about Chris Eubank Jr., it's about the champions in his own weight class." He also criticized the promoters and management teams involved, accusing them of valuing financial profit over fighter safety, and made it clear that he is willing to publicly oppose the fight to protect his son.
You can't fight someone who walks around at 12-3, boiling him down to 160. Before, you would have fought him at 157. He would have lost his life that night, which is why that fight didn't happen, and why it's being boycotted. Whoever's giving you this view that you have, you've discarded your entire career for Chris Eubank Jr. Who is that? Is it just your dad who wants to win over me? Or is it someone else in your team? Who juiced you up if you were juiced up?
Amid the back and forth in the media, Chris Eubank Sr. acknowledges the serious danger Conor Benn poses to any opponent in the ring, especially his own son, and makes it clear he is not underestimating Benn's abilities, despite the perception that he may have lost some of his previous power. Eubank Sr. emphasizes that his criticism is not directed at his son, but at the circumstances surrounding the fight, stressing that his main concern is preventing his son from being drawn into a potentially harmful confrontation. As a father who understands the brutal nature of boxing, he feels a deep instinct to protect his child and hopes the fight does not happen, not because he doubts his son's skills, but because he has seen firsthand the devastating consequences the sport can bring. While he respects boxing and his son's career, Eubank Sr. ultimately wants to see his son succeed without having to risk everything in a bout he believes is simply too dangerous.
Chris Eubank Jr. was a fantastic fighter, is a fantastic fighter, but he's too heavy. Okay? He is a 168-pound fighter. For him to get down to 160 now is too much for him. So Conor would be fighting someone who has lost his punch resistance, which was proven with this Mr. Smith. Again, I don't talk against my son. I'm there to protect him because I know how dangerous this young man is, Conor Benn. I know how dangerous he is. 147 fights, 147. Leave Junior alone.
Chris Eubank Sr. has expressed unwavering support for Conor Benn, firmly believing in his exceptional potential as a fighter. He described Conor as a tremendous talent capable of defeating any opponent in the ring, and his confidence in Conor's abilities stems from years of experience and deep understanding of what it takes to succeed at the highest level. Eubank Sr. emphasized the importance of trust, both in boxing and personal relationships, urging Conor to trust him, as he genuinely has his best interests at heart. He acknowledged being aware of the people around Conor and the dynamics involved, assuring him that any past misunderstandings or negative remarks have not affected his support. Despite anything that may have been said about him, Eubank Sr. made it clear he holds no ill will and would never offer guidance that could mislead or harm. Having known Conor's father and witnessed Conor's journey, He is confident in his advice and intentions. Above all, what matters most to Eubank Sr. is seeing Conor succeed, and he remains committed to supporting him unconditionally.
Go and have his illustrious career here in the United Kingdom and then in the United States, because he beats them all. That's how fantastic I think he is. I've always backed you, Conor. I've always backed you. Okay, you're sensible. It's true that you've said things about me which are not complimentary. I don't mind that. I'm looking at the people that you're around. Here it is. You know the spirit world. That's how I know you're an honest man. The people around you are part of a gang. It's a team thing. You're the mark. Okay, the only person who's going to look out for you is you. It's supposed to be your dad. And people like me. You can trust me. Yeah, you've seen me get up in a fight I can't win and walk back into the fire. You can trust me. I'm not going to give you any... I'm not going to mislead you. You know, I'm a lawman.
The ongoing tension between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn goes far beyond a typical boxing rivalry, deeply rooted in the complex history and strained relationships between their fathers as well. The animosity between the two families dates back to a series of incidents that have only intensified over time, with one of the most notable being a heated press conference where Nigel Benn, Conor's father, put his arm around Eubank Jr.'s throat, a physical confrontation that symbolized the long-standing tension. Despite the fallout between the fathers, Chris Eubank Sr. has consistently supported Conor Benn throughout his career. Even when relations between the two older men were strained, Eubank Sr.'s alignment with Conor, rather than his own son in some instances, has created friction, especially given Eubank Jr.'s expressed desire to reconcile with his father, despite their unresolved rift. The tension escalated further when Eubank Jr., reacting to the altercation with Nigel Benn, threatened serious consequences if it happened again, intensifying the rivalry. Conor Benn, increasingly frustrated by the public spectacle, voiced his emotions during an interview with Piers Morgan, shedding light on the emotional toll of the feud and the complex dynamics between the families. What began as a boxing match has evolved into a bitter war of words and actions, with both fathers playing significant roles in fueling the conflict. While Eubank Jr. maintains love and respect for his father, their complicated relationship continues to impact their personal and professional lives, and although there may be a desire for reconciliation, the path toward healing remains long and uncertain.
Dad intervened with the egg throwing, and put his arm, I think, on your throat. And at the second press conference, you basically threatened Nigel. Said if he did that again, you'd deal with him. And
it wasn't a threat, it was a promise.
Oh, it's not a promise, is it?
You can't touch
scumbag.
You can't.
What we did.
you can throw an egg in his face and his father can't.
No, me and you were fighting. You're just upset.
Me and you were fighting.
I understand you.
I'm
My
not
dad
upset.
My back. You are. That's all.
I'm not upset.
My dad put.
Me and you were fighting. Whatever happened between us.
My dad put his arms around. What are you gonna do about it?
No one else.
Tell me.
No one else can touch me.
Tell me.
They do. There'll be
Tell me.
consequences.
Consequences to what?
Anyone else
slap you right now?
Anyone else touches me?
What if I just slap you right now? What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, go on, go ahead.
Yeah, talk about my dad.
I'm not talking about
my dad. No.
I told him. I told him.
Get off me, please.
My old man would never touch you, so your old man's never going to touch me.
I would never slap you.
You would never slap me?
Yeah, no one.
You put your hands on me twice since my last fight.
When?
Pushed me.
Push, a little push.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You put your hands on me.
Little push and stuff. Stop moaning
about it. Put your
about
hands on me.
Stop moaning about it. Little push and stuff. Stop moaning about it. Talk about my dad.
You put your hands on me. I put my hands on you.
I'll never disrespect your dad.
Yes, you would. You disrespected him before.
What, the fact that he don't like you? It's a matter of fact.
Okay, well,
it's a matter of fact. How's that disrespect?
Can't give it and not take it.
You fucked up by talking about my dad. You done fucked up talking about my dad.
You fucked up by taking
Yeah.
In a recent interview, Chris Eubank Jr. was asked about the possibility of his father, Chris Eubank Sr., attending his upcoming fight on April 26th, to which he expressed doubt, saying, "No, like I said, I haven't heard from him since that day, so I'm not confident of anything, but I will try my best to facilitate him being there." When asked if he had invited his father, Eubank Jr. confirmed he had, but noted that his father's response was far from supportive, with Eubank Sr. firmly stating, "The fight isn't going to happen." This remark highlights the disconnect between father and son, as Eubank Jr. seemed uncertain and frustrated about the reasons behind his father's opposition. Despite his efforts to include his father in his professional journey, Eubank Sr. remains adamantly against the fight, a stance likely rooted in concerns about the potential dangers or complications involved. Eubank Jr.'s confusion reflects the emotional toll of their strained relationship and his yearning for paternal support both personally and professionally. Ultimately, this exchange underscores the deeper tension between them, as Eubank Sr.'s insistence that the fight should not take place continues to frustrate his son, who struggles to understand why his father would oppose such a pivotal moment in his career.
And when you spoke to him?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said the fight isn't going to happen.
Why not? Why does he feel that way?
Your guess is as good as mine, buddy. It sounds crazy, but at the same time, he said the same thing before the last fight. So it's like I can't even call it crazy now because it did happen. But it's just not going to happen. It's impossible. Virtually impossible. Nothing is impossible, but it's virtually impossible. And, even if that was his mindset, I feel like he should still be, supporting. But he has this mental block about this whole thing. I don't know why. So, it's obviously just something. He's got his demons. He's fighting, and he's got something in his mind that he can't get over. I don't know. We are going to just try and help him through it, I guess.
Chris Eubank Jr. shared his thoughts on his father's stance regarding his upcoming fight, expressing a mix of confusion and frustration. He acknowledged that, while it may sound crazy, his father had made similar claims before his last fight, yet the bout still went ahead. However, this time, Eubank Jr. feels it's virtually impossible for the fight to happen, though he also admitted that nothing is truly impossible. Despite his father's continued refusal to support the fight, Eubank Jr. believes that his father should still be offering his support, regardless of his personal views. He recognized that his father may be dealing with personal struggles and mental blocks that are preventing him from fully embracing the situation. Taking a compassionate approach, Eubank Jr. suggested that the way forward isn't to pressure his father, but to help him navigate whatever emotional or mental barriers he may be facing. Despite the ongoing tension, it's evident that Eubank Jr. still desires reconciliation and hopes to support his father in overcoming his internal struggles.
Behavior, I understand. Where did that come from? I'm supposed to be his example. But I spoke with him a few days ago, and he said to me about this egg thing. He said, "Dad, he's a cheat. Okay, and we're promoting the fight. And these people have me under a great deal of pressure, and the environment is very messy. And I got pulled in. In doing that, yes, I premeditated it, because these people are all over me, telling me that my dad doesn't like me. It's me alone, Dad. So, that's what I thought I'd do, and I've justified it. He supposedly had some type of chemical which is born of eggs, and